We're going to talk about how AI Academy uses AI. So, first of all, about me, in case you don't know me, I am the CEO of AI Academy. I've been building and teaching AI for almost 10 years. I founded AI Academy in 2017, initially doing consulting, so helping large companies. Some of the logos that you see below have been my customers, trying to help them basically understand AI and apply it. And since a couple of years, I started hiring the beautiful team that you see here, plus a couple more people that are not here today with us, and focusing 100% on education. I also recently started a new company that is in stealth mode. I'm also very active on AI ethics. I published an investigation on The Guardian on AI and gender bias that I can send you a link later on if you're interested. I also like to teach in different universities. I teach at Harvard. I have my class next week, actually. So I'm really excited for that, and other universities around the world like ESCP. So now, rules for today, questions are welcome at any point in time. I highly recommend to focus because I'm going to try to go very fast because I want to be respectful of your time. I know it's a Friday evening, so I want to try to kind of speed through the concepts that I need to tell you. So if there's anything you don't understand, you want to go deeper in, ask questions, but I highly recommend to focus. I always, use my phone when people are doing webinars, and I realize that I don't remember anything, and I wonder why. So this is my tip for everybody else. Cool. My goal is to try to inspire you to see how a company can leverage AI today to produce better work, faster, and feeling happier. I haven't made a survey around the Academy team to know if they're happier, but I'm fairly happy due to the fact that some of the boring stuff that I need to do are taken care of by AI, and I also feel like I'm working more creatively. A few numbers about us so you understand a little bit the context. Because what I'm going to show you today is stuff that works for AI Academy. If you're a larger company, you can take inspiration from this and you can apply it in a slightly different way. You need to adapt it. If you're a smaller company, so if you're a freelancer, for instance, if you have a small team, same thing, you may have to adapt a little bit of what I'm going to show you. So let's talk about our 2023 so you understand the concept, the context, sorry. So first of all, we grew a lot last year. We grew 300% organically. This meant that there were a lot of new challenges, a lot of new things to do, not a lot of time available for, not a lot of time to waste. Let's put it that way. We trained 4,000 people in 1 year, which has been kind of crazy. After I looked at the numbers, it's been kind of wild, from all over the world. So around 35 different nationalities. Anything from Brazil to Saudi Arabia, like literally like everywhere in the world. We have students that built more than 50 projects, which is something I'm really proud of because training people is nice, but then looking at what they've done after they've been trained is even more satisfying. I personally traveled more than 100,000 kilometers, which has been kind of crazy. So 43 flights and 16 trains. And I did these calculations, by the way, using ChatGPT, and I can show you how later on, because I wanted to offset my CO2. So this has been pretty fun as well as a journey. We had 6.5 million social media impressions thanks to our content, sent more than 400,000 emails, and shot 240 videos. So these are our numbers, which for, if you are Coca-Cola, these are small numbers, but I think for a small company that went from 2.5 to 5 full-time members, we're now 6, but a new person joined this month. I think it's pretty impressive. I'm pretty proud of what we managed to do. And so today I'm going to show you how we did it. So how did we do it without going crazy? I almost went crazy, I have to say. Late December, I was a little bit irritable, but that's mostly because of all the traveling. So I have to say that if I didn't have AI, I probably would have gone completely nuts. I didn't, so that's good. And as far as I know, everybody else has a decent mental health. So we didn't go fully bananas. So the first reason why we were able to do this is because of the team. The team is magic. The team is really good. I'm really proud of the people that work here. Andrea is here floating in the top right. He's not dead. He's here in the meeting, but he was not there when we took this picture, so I had to Photoshop him. But the second reason is that we had an AI team member, which we also love, and it's been really valuable. So how do we use AI? How did we leverage this team member? I like to say that we had 3 different kinds of usage. The number one is as a day-to-day co-pilot. And we're going to show you some case studies, some real case studies in a little bit about all each of these ways of using it. The second way we used it to do workflow automation. And then 3, this is stuff that is coming soon, new, disruptive, with air quotes, features. So let's start with the first one, day-to-day Copilot. Why, use cases, and a small demo. First, I want to tell you why. What is this idea around a Copilot? So there was this scientific paper that was published a few months ago from Harvard and Boston Consulting Group, BCG. What they've done is they've taken 758 BCG consultants. They divided them into 3 groups. One group did not have access to ChatGPT. One group had access to ChatGPT. Another group had access to ChatGPT plus an overview of how to use it in the best way possible. These people were tasked to use ChatGPT to do very normal consulting tasks, but some of these tasks were so-called inside the frontier, so things that ChatGPT can do reasonably well, and some of the tasks were outside the frontier, so things that ChatGPT cannot do reasonably well. This is the kind of stuff that is inside the frontier. Creativity, propose new ideas. Analytical thinking, it's an interesting one, but it is something that ChatGPT can do really well. Writing proficiency and persuasiveness. The interesting thing is that they were much faster, more productive using AI. So 12.2% more tasks completed, 25% more quickly. But this is the most interesting thing to me. So the graph on the left is the performance boost received by people who are in the bottom half of the scales. So the people who are less good at AI stuff, let's put it that way. The picture on the right are the best, the top half. And so you can see AI seems to help people with the lower skills. This is very important. So AI seems to enable people with low skills in a specific area to perform like experts. But now I think it's a bit of a unique approach to this. I don't see a lot of people talking about it in this way. My idea is, if you look at me, for instance, I am an expert in AI, but I am an intern in marketing. My English is decent, but it's not that good. It's not my native language. Writing copy, all these things, I'm not that good. So the way that I see this is AI can turn me in an expert in a lot of different subject areas that I have limited understanding of. Some understanding of it, but not 100%. This is the way that I like to think about it. One thing that I want to show you also is that for tasks outside the frontier, so for tasks that AI cannot do properly, people are actually performing worse with AI than with AI. So 2 things here that I want to say. One, it's super important to use AI for the right things. So if you use it for the wrong things, you're going to screw up. Number 2, it's important to use it as a co-pilot to augment yourself in the skills that you don't have 100% clear. Let's put it that way. So now I want to give you a small case study. Andrea is going to give it to you. So Andrea is going to explain you this part of this use case. And really the goal here is to show you how Andrea specifically used ChatGPT as a co-pilot to automate the writing, but not the thinking. ChatGPT is mostly a writing tool. It's something that just spits out text. And Andrea has been really good and has become really good by, learning by doing, kind of, because we started using it really early on, like when there were not a lot of guides. We didn't have our courses either. So there was not a lot out there. He's been really an expert in trying to use ChatGPT as a co-pilot. So Andrea, if you want to take the stage and explain people.
Yes, of course. So as Gianluca mentioned, this is that was important. It was important for me to be in control of what I want to gain from ChatGPT. So the challenge I was facing here is that I wanted to write an email flow to promote our new course. This was when we first launched our Master in Prompt Engineering. We had our first edition, and we had some leads. We have people interested in the course, just like yourself. And then we wanted to let the people jump in our course and realize why it was so cool. So, but these are the challenges I was facing. I had no data because it was the first edition, as I said, and we had no previous students, no social proof, and nothing to show really. So the second challenge is, as you might have realized by now, I'm not a native English speaker. And third challenge is that copywriting is not my first number one skill. So I wanted to get help from the system. So the solution was to use ChatGPT as a writing copilot, just like Gianluca said. So we want to stress a lot on how to use the ChatGPT in this case as a copilot, because here we don't have to automate the writing. You have to automate the writing, but not the thinking. And now I'm going to explain how I did that. So as I said, I wanted to create an email sequence to get people on board, and as the one you are probably receiving right now because you subscribe to the waiting list. So I created a prompt. This interface might not look familiar to you because it's a different interface from that is always from OpenAI. So it's like I'm using ChatGPT right now. So I use the CD framework, which is a framework we teach here at AI Academy, and how to get the best prompt. So I give it some context because it's really important that ChatGPT gets to know you better before providing you with an output. So I give it a context. You don't need to please don't read it all. You just need to know that I give it context. I said, act as a professional email marketing working for Academy that does this, and that. And I gave it instructions. So design an email sequence for individuals to join the waiting list, and the course is not yet available for purchase. And then I gave it some details, like the tone of voice and what are the aspects they should highlight. So I moved on, and I asked for a first email outline. And this is really important. That's up there. You can see my input there. Before asking ChatGPT, you can see assistant is the answer from ChatGPT. So I asked it for an outline. And why did I do that? I did that because I wanted to keep control of ChatGPT. So the mistake that most of the people do is just ask ChatGPT to write an email sequence, like in this case. And what they get is an email sequence with each email, with the draft of each email. But that would be really hard for you to change it after you get that result. So what you can do is have a step-by-step approach. So you first ask it for an outline. You see if it resonates with you. You can make changes. Right here is much easier to make changes at this stage. And then you can move on, creating an email flow. So Gianluca, if you can move on with so I went on developing each email on its own, because when I was cool with the general output of the email, and then I wanted ask ChatGPT to dive deeper into each email, so and get the draft I was looking for each email I had. So I came up with the email sequence, and it went great because we had a sold out course, we had happy students, and we learned what students loved and didn't love, and we improved the program because we realized what students actually liked about the program and what they didn't like about the program. But at the same time, we realized that there's always room for improvement. Since we had more data this time, I wanted to put that knowledge I received from the first edition, from my first experience in this email sequence, and put that in this second sequence of email sequence. And as you can see here, as before, you don't need to write it all. But I realized that we received frequently asked questions. So I wanted to, because as a marketing guy, you want to smash all the doubts that potential client have beforehand. So you want to answer their questions before they ask them to you. And I provided ChatGPT this time with the common question that people asked us in the first edition. And the output was a much better email sequence with much more interesting stuff, much more question answers answered, and we got some pretty cool results because even though we had a sold out edition, we still had a conversion rate, email sequence conversion rate that skyrocketed with 14.6%. As you probably are all marketing based, you know that 14.6% is a huge number. So we were really happy. But so what I want you to realize here is that it was important for me to keep control of ChatGPT, because if I ask ChatGPT just to write emails for me without giving him any data or without steering it in the right direction, I would just have had a pretty common and general email sequence that would really not resonate with our target audience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, a great case study, not just because of the output that we got. I mean, 14.6% of improvement on an email sequence is pretty great. But I think it just speaks about the fact that we as a small team, if we wanted to get that level of improvement, we would have needed to hire maybe a copywriter or somebody who can work with Andrea, which, by the way, we are now hiring a copywriter, which is kind of funny, but we are hiring somebody because we want to go like the extra mile, you know, like we want to go, we want to do some more creative work. We want to relook at our brand, relook at our tone of voice. But at that time, we could not afford getting a new person in for a few different reasons. One was money, but the other one was also we did not have time. Okay, we needed to push this really fast. And so this was instrumental in a perfect case. So thank you, Andrea, for showing that. Let's talk about workflow automation. What is workflow automation? So in the case that you just saw, Andrea was using AI as a co-pilot, which means that he was next to the AI playing, just trying to figure out what is the best thing. But nobody has fun chatting with an AI thing on a day-to-day basis. If you need to do the same thing over and over and over and over, it's not that fun to go back and forth. And so we want to build some automations that help us out. The way that we do that is that every month we have a hackathon. We get together and we try to think about what challenges we have and solve them with AI. One thing that I want to say is this is important from a, maybe, I don't know if calling it change management perspective. If we were a bigger company, I would say change management. Since we're 6, it's hard to say change management. But it was interesting to notice that if you just tell people, use AI, figure out use cases, nothing is going to happen. You need to have processes around it. And so this is why we have the monthly hackathon. The way that it works is that we start by making analysis of challenges. So what you see here is an example of a Miro board where everybody was just sticking in a bunch of different challenges that they had on a day-to-day basis. Anything from stuff that is maybe very transformational. Automatic copy for ads is one that I read here that is maybe a little bit a bit it's big project, to something like I want to create Zoom calendar events, something that is a bit shorter, a bit smaller, a bit more defined. And then people can start voting. So we vote, we have the democratic process to choose what we work on. And after we find something that we want to work on, we do something called solution framing. So in this case, Helene was expressing the pain of having to come up with an email to answer incoming leads very fast. Because there were some cases in which maybe we were negotiating deals, we were sending proposals, but at the same time, we have a few leads coming on our corporate page at the same time. And for Helene, it was stressful to know, oh shit, I need to figure out an email that is personalized for all those people while I'm sending proposals, while I'm doing that. And we wanted to have an easy life. And so we thought about what is the ideal flow to make sure that Helene is empowered to do her job. Helene retains control over the things that are important. And ChatGPT supports her in the way, in the things that she does not want to feel the pressure of, okay? And this is what we came up with. I want to just show it to you. So rather than, boom, rather than talking about it, I'm just going to demonstrate it. So we use a tool called make.com, which is a tool to make a no-code tool for automations. Funny thing, I think nobody in the team except me knows how to code. Andrea, I know, Andrea and Joelle took a little bit of a Python course, so you know a little bit of Python, but I guess not enough to build this. So I was impressed when I saw this. I was in Kenya actually on holiday, and I just started getting messages on Slack. The Sims things were working, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And this guy's built this. I'm just going to walk you through what this thing is, because it's actually pretty easy to understand. So webhook means that they connected our website to this automation. When a new message comes in on our page, and I'm going to show you how the page looks like. This is the page, corporate page. So this is where our the businesses that want to buy trainings from us land. They have some description of what we do. There's a picture of me. There's a bit too much. Maybe we should make it smaller. And then we go down, blah, blah, blah. And there's an area where they can send us a request, okay? So whenever they click submit, what happens is the data, so the message they sent first goes into our CRM, then goes to Notion, which is, we use 2 CRMs for some reason. I don't remember why we had this, but anyway, we have 2 CRMs. And then it goes to OpenAI that creates a draft for an email that writes on Notion for Helene that can send it. I want to give you a demo because otherwise it's much easier to understand. So let's say that I'm a company and I want to buy something here. My name is Gianluca Mauro. My email address is, I'm going to put my real email address, my phone number. I'm going to put my fake phone number. Otherwise, you guys text me all the time. I'm joking. Company, let's say I work for Academy. It's kind of weird. Let's put another company. Let's say that I work for Tesla, whatever. My role is the CEO of Tesla. I just took Elon Musk out. I heard about you from other, what I'm interested in. It's going to be fun to clean our CRM after this. I'm sorry, Helen. I want to train my entire marketing team on how to build AI projects. Okay. What happens now? I kind of want to show you. Let's see if this works like this. I'm risking it a little bit because I don't know if it's gonna work, but I wanna do it anyway because I like to do risky things. So now this is waiting. In theory, if it works, you're supposed to see the data that flows into this flow. Okay, so I click submit. Oh yes, you see the now it's here. I hope you can see this blue thing that's spinning. Boom, boom. So now it's on ChatGPT. ChatGPT is creating the email. Boom. And it has sent a message to Helene on Slack. And now it's creating another email. I'm going to show you in a second why. And now it's creating the 3rd email. Cool. It worked. So now if I open our CRM, and I'm just going to take it over here, this is the email. It just got created from Tesla. I want to train my entire marketing team on how to build their projects, blah, blah, blah. And this is the email. So we write 3 different emails based on the priority on the lead, and Helene can choose which one to send. And it says, in this case, thank you for reaching out to our Academy regarding your high priority request to train your entire marketing team on how to build their projects. We understand the importance for you, blah, blah, blah. This is an email that was just drafted. Now Helene will take this, will modify it. No email is perfect, but this works as a first draft, and she can just quickly decide whether to send it or not to, in this case, to me, I guess. It is gonna be a very awkward conversation, but you get the gist. So this is just one of the automations that we have created. To give you an idea about what other kind of automations we have built, let me just close this so that I don't risk showing you data that you're not supposed to see. I would just want to respect the privacy of my other clients. Cool. We have other automations that do stuff like this. One, just to give you an idea, is an automation that helps us with our newsletter. We keep control over what news gets into the program, get into the newsletter, but we do not write each single summary. So we have a process for that. We have one that every time that a video gets edited, it gets put in a Google Drive folder, and after we put it in the Google Drive folder, it automatically transcribes it. It automatically creates an Instagram post based on the video. So if I made a video and I say, AI is really cool and it's going to help fashion companies be more powerful and communicate better with their audience, something like that. Cool. What happens after is that this text gets turned into a carousel for an Instagram post. And that allows us to basically repurpose content very easily. Before moving forward, I saw a couple of questions. I'm going to take them. So Gina has asked, did you have to train on Q&A parameters for it to generate those letters? Letters, you meant the questions, I guess. Sorry, the emails. Yeah, cool, the emails. No, we wrote something that is called a meta prompt. What is a meta prompt? A meta prompt, imagine it like a template or scaffolding, okay, for a prompt. And it's all the important context that ChatGPT needs to have. It's in the prompt. It says who we are. It says who is Helen. It says what do we do. It says what is our approach, what is our mindset, everything. And there's like a little empty box. In the empty box, we snap in the request from the customer so that the prompt can be personalized for the customer. But there's no training involved. That would be super expensive. We don't have the money for that. Will take too long. We don't have time for that. We just wrote a really good, it's called a meta prompt. Okay. Nick, question, is in this example for Helene, is it a custom GPT doing the email draft? Or is it a regular ChatGPT chat? It's not a regular ChatGPT chat. So this is an interesting concept that not a lot of people understand, unless you're like in the field. ChatGPT is just a user interface behind a model, a technology called GPT. This GPT-4 is the most powerful one. This is GPT 3.5. And these technologies, so the GPT, is something that OpenAI sells and enables companies like us to integrate them. So we are going behind the interface of ChatGPT and interacting straight with the mother technology. I know it sounds very scary. It's not. It's very straightforward. I think if you understand via API, correct, via API. I just didn't want to assume that you knew what an API was. For people who don't know what an API is, it's basically the way the computers talk to each other. So we just connected it. I can actually, you know what? I think this is going to become a little bit easier for you to understand if I just show you. I wanted this session to be very transparent. Let me just open Make again. I want to show you the example so you understand really what's going on behind the scenes. So scenarios, we have a lot of Make scenarios. So this is how it works. But then, so you create an API, OpenAI connection. The way that you do it is a simple guide. You just follow it and that's it. And here you select which model you want to use. In this case, we use GPT 3.5 Turbo, but there's a bunch of different models that you can use. Then you write what is called a system prompt. The system prompt says basically gives the kind of the context for ChatGPT, for GPT 3.5 in this case. You say, who is Helen? Leading partnerships at AI Academy, professional content creation training company founded by expert Gianluca Mauro. Send emails no longer than 250 words. And here there are a few like instructions of how Helen wants the emails to be written. Notice how at the end, you get a corporate request, name, company name, and message. So this is the meta prompt, and this is the input that populates your prompt. So that every time somebody else sends a request, they get the same structure, but updated and personalized based on what they do. Does that make sense? Let me know if there are questions about this. Really, this is something, it feels like magic. The guys did that in 3 hours. So in 3 hours, the whole thing was built, beginning end to end, from ideation to deciding the whole thing. The last thing that I want to show you is the so-called disruptive applications. Okay, so when it comes to disruptive applications, what I mean is new features, new products that you can build. And one thing, this is still in beta and still stealth mode. Not a lot of people have seen this. So you're one of the first people who see this thing that we're building. But we wanted to build a chatbot that could help students learn better while they are in one of our programs. So I'll show you how this looks like. Once again, this is a prototype, so I hope it's going to work. It's probably going to work. So we have a community for AI Academy. So when you buy one of our trainings, you get added to this community. There's a few different things. There's like prompting tips. There are different threads for people who ask questions about the projects and want to get some help. There's networking news. Here we put some silly things. And this channel, it's private. It's called bot testing. So the way that this works is that you can ask any question that you want. Say, ask, how do I write a good prompt using the City framework? And what this does, it's able to find the best video from our catalog to answer that question. It takes the transcript of the video, it generates a response that is tailored and it's customized based on our content. This solves a few different problems. Number one, you know, the ChatGPT, you don't have to trust it, but I do trust my videos. I do trust our knowledge. I do trust the material in our courses. So by using this kind of technology, AI is going to be accurate because it doesn't invent stuff. It has to use my knowledge to give an answer. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is because this is going to be a much better experience for the students, because the students can get an answer to their question. And at the end, as you can see here, they say, look, if you want to go deeper, this is where you're going to find the content. Lesson 5, module 5, lesson 4, lesson 2, module 2, lesson 1, and you also get the timestamp of where you're supposed to go and check. Let's just try this live. Let me see if it's still on. Yes, still on. Let's ask a question. How do I don't know, put a really long document in ChatGPT? So I send this message, and then if this works, we wait a few seconds. Boom. I see you want to put an input log document to ChatGPT. Well, ChatGPT has a context window limit, so you might run into trouble if your document is too long. One simple solution is the rolling window strategy, where you delete some of the first messages, etc., etc. For more details and examples, you can check out module 7, lesson 1, etc., etc. You can also refer to module 1, lesson 3, happy learning. And here we just have the list. Here we just want to put some links so you can literally click and go to the lesson that helps you out. So this is just one of the crazy ideas that we have in mind. And this is one of the first things that we actually wanna deploy, wanna give students. Probably in February, we're gonna finish it and just release it for everybody to use. But it gives you an idea how some experiences that feel magical are not that hard to build if you know what you're doing. This is the only project where we needed to know how to code. So I've done the coding bit. Everything else that you've seen, complete no code. Okay, it's been built by our team. So these were the 3 use cases that I wanted to show you. I want to close by telling you. Give me just 1 second. I lost my Zoom window. Share screen, desktop 1. Here we go. Boom. I promised that I was gonna open the new Mastering Prompt Engineering Edition. which is about really learning how we do this.
Gianluca, there's a question in the chat.
Oh yeah, let me take that actually. Zoom. Oops. Oh my God, I'm lost. Okay, stop sharing. Sorry. What is the question? So they opened the GPT builder for Playground 2. I'm not sure I understand your question, Giuseppe. I think I understand your question. No, they haven't. We did everything ourselves. We built it from scratch. It took me 1 day, maybe something like that. It's not crazy if you know what you're doing. Okay. If you have other questions, just jump them in. Thank you, Andrea, for letting me know. I sometimes just lose where the questions are coming from because I'm doing 500 things at the same time. So, what is Keynote? Keynote. Here we go. So, how do you learn? If you want to learn how to do this, we're about to open. We opened today actually the sales of the 5th edition of the Master in Prompt Engineering. I want to tell you a little bit about it. So, this is what you learn in the Master: how to identify opportunities for generative AI, how to design new products or features that leverage AI, a process to write prompts that work every time. This is really important. It's not about banging your head on the desk until you find a prompt that works. There's a process for it. This is why we're able of building these things in a few hours, because we have a process. You're going to learn advanced prompting techniques in case you're tackling a very complex project that needs some more advanced stuff. How to validate the accuracy of your prompts, which is super freaking important. A lot of people say, oh, AI is not accurate. And I'm like, how accurate is it? Is it 20%, 30, 70? Do you even have a KPI, a way to measure? If you want to build this kind of stuff, you need to know how to measure the accuracy of your prompts and then how to integrate it with other products and tools, exactly like we did. This is how you learn. We've been trying this for now a few months. It's really fun. So you immediately get access to a community plus 7 on-demand modules with video lessons and practical exercises. Then there are 3 live sessions with me. First session is about identifying your project. Second session is about establishing a process to measure and refine your prompts. And third lecture is about helping you pitch your project so you can tell a cohesive story to whoever you want to sell it to. You want to tell it to your boss, you want to tell it to an investor, or even if you want to just keep it for yourself. Pitching your project is the best way for me to review what you've done, find out what are your blind spots, and improve. While you do this, you have group sessions with the other students and one-to-one coaching. And then you finish with graduation and certificate. So you're building a project as we go. You identify your project in the first session and you keep going and keep working on it. We trained already more than 100 people. It's been really fun. I think one of them is here. I don't know if Alessandro, if you're still here. I'm gonna put you on the spot later on if you want to say a few words about it. If you feel like. I don't know if you're there, honestly. I saw you there before, now I don't know. Oh, you're still there. Cool. So previous students are entrepreneurs, freelancers, designers, developers, corporate managers. It's been really wide, I think, the kind of people that join, but everybody has the same level, same kind of approach, I would say, to life, maybe. So there are people who want to challenge themselves and learn new things. The examples of projects that somebody built an auto project manager, so something that would create user stories and this kind of stuff automatically. Somebody built something to facilitate design workshops. Somebody else built a McKinsey on a budget. It was some sort of ChatGPT-like consultant, basically. So the program is 1,300 euros, but we have an early bird offer for 999. There are limited seats so that we can keep it kind of intimate. The offer is valid until Friday the 20th. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, or when the seats finish. Usually seats finish at some point. We usually keep around 30 people. So the program starts on the 4th of March. It's the day before my birthday, by the way. So it's going to be a really cool program start. I don't know what we're going to do about it. I think nothing. But anyway. And your company can pay for it. A lot of people actually ask their companies to pay for this. Especially this year, guys, I'm noticing that a lot of organizations, last year they were saying, oh, AI is really cool. This year is when they're deploying budgets to train people and to do projects. So if you have a company who has a education budget, feel free to ask them. We have a template of an example of an email that you can send to pitch the project to your boss or whoever has the budget. If Andrea or somebody else can put the link in the chat. And that's it. Now let's have a Q&A. I'm gonna keep this for a little bit. It's not sure the offerance next Thursday. Sorry, I messed out. Is on the 20th of this month. Okay, or when we sell out. So let's have a chat. If you have questions about the program or about everything else, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna start with the questions. What's the time commitment for this course? How many hours per week do you recommend we dedicate? So we say a minimum of 2 hours per week, but some people dedicate much more, and obviously the more you put, the better it is. Actually, I mean, since you're here, I don't know if you want to speak, Alessandro. How much time did you spend doing it?
First of all, thanks for involving me in this. It's always very, very nice to be in these events, even if I am almost a certificate prompt engineer. You have my project, by the way.
I saw. You sent it yesterday, right?
Okay. How many times did I spend? Well, I would say that out of, let's say, 10 workable hours a day, I spent 11. No, just joking. This is as you said, the more you spend, the more you deep dive in, the more you understand the concepts besides the technology. One thing that I wanted to stress out is that this course really prompted me to go beside the technology. Technology is there, can vary from day to day. We are literally flooded with new tools and models and chatbots and whatever. And so if you try to keep up with the technology, you are in a bad position anyway. This course prompted me to go beyond technology and go within the concept, let's say a little bit into a philosophy, so to speak, so that you can handle pretty well every technology that comes in. And so this is my take so far.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've seen is there I think there's a bit of echo. I'm just gonna mute you, okay? Cool. I've seen students who, like, you're definitely one of the students that after the course finished kept going really hard. And I know I've seen your project in my inbox, but I was like, I need some time because I know this is gonna be a big project. It's gonna be cool, so I want to check it out. But I think probably the somebody who has spent 4 hours per week gets the most. Then people can spend 6, 10, whatever they want. Somebody was literally saying, look, I am building a new thing for my company, so this is my job now, basically. And so spend probably 20 hours a week, but I think minimum 2. Is March for a live session or just access to the videos? You just get access to the videos on March the 4th. And the first live session is, now I'll tell you because I know that my team has sent me. The first live session is on the 14th of March. Okay, so you have 2 weeks to watch the first 2 modules of the videos. And then when we do a live session, you already have a starting knowledge, so you can build on it, okay? But you get access to the community and all those things in the meantime. Giovanni, for the Q&A, what is the news source for your newsletter automation? Suppose on Make. I'm gonna show you, okay? I think it's the easiest thing that we can do is to just show you how it works. Let me just pull this up so that you can see it. Okay. So, ready, go. I'm gonna show you this automation is one of my favorite ones. The step 1, share. So, let's go here. So we have this database that we use for the news. Okay. So we basically go on the internet. If we find cool news, let's say we go on TechCrunch. Oh, cool. Mark Zuckerberg calls Apple's DMA rules so onerous he dubs any developer will opt in. If we like this, we click on this thing called Notion, and we say save page. What happens is that this piece of news gets added on this database. You see, this just popped up here. In a few seconds, boom, there's all the text. But obviously, we need to have a summary. So we want to keep us in charge, keeping control of what is a good news for our newsletter. And we call the section before Pizza Bites. So if we think this is good, we just click here and say Pizza Bites. Okay. After we've done this, what we do is, Joelle, can you trigger the pipeline from Slack? So we go on Slack and we tell our bot, hey, we have news ready for you. Go and summarize them. We literally just send one message to one bot. And what happens is, in a second, you're going to see this magically be filled. Have you guys triggered it? Did it happen? It should come in a second. But anyway, you see, these are the kind of summaries that we get. And AI generates them. So right now, just to make the example, I just made one news, but we could have selected 10 different pieces of news, 20 pieces of news, and we just click one button and all the summaries get generated in a few seconds.
Got it. Thank you.
Here we go. It's here. Boom. Pizza Bites. It just happened. And so we can just, take it and put it in the newsletter and we're good to go. So that's another one of the automations that we built. Do we have a quick take on the risks of adoption for small risk-adverse organizations? For example, groups that don't even have proper cybersecurity policies or practices, nor internal technical leadership. Really good question, Nick. Let's put it this way. There are some things that are just stupid to do. Okay. Like if you just take for instance, when we send data to ChatGPT to create emails, we don't send the phone number of the customer. Like obviously, this is just, the basic things that you can do to try to keep data in. But if you use Google Drive or SharePoint or Dropbox, they're not different from OpenAI. I think OpenAI and AI in general gets a lot of bad rep, a lot of bad PR, but from a cybersecurity point of view, it's not that different. It's just not that different. One of the fear that people have is this no-code tools, like Make.com. A lot of large companies don't want employees to use them. When it comes to us, what our approach has always been to try to create a sandbox. What do I mean? Make.com has access just writing to our database, not reading. It can just push stuff in. It can't read information. That's just one example. Second example, when he writes the news, no, it's the same thing. When he writes the news, it just puts data in, but it can't read everything else that we're doing. So you can do very basic things to keep yourself safe. And then another thing that I want to say is financial information, for instance, they're on Google Drive, like our invoices. Most companies do it like this. We would not give access to that to ChatGPT because we don't want to make it just go too much away from our organization. But if you trust Google Drive, why wouldn't you trust OpenAI? I don't know. Just read the terms and conditions. They're basically the same, So it's I think there's a lot of bad rep. Not legal advice. Disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer. Okay. So don't do things and then come and say that it's my fault if you've messed up. Go read them before applying stuff like this. But this is usually what works. Are there any other questions? Do you project live on your own database or open? Do your projects live on? What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand. Are you referring to the students from the master, like when you're developing? Yes. Cool. So we do the projects together. Okay. So usually everybody in the group knows what everybody else is working on. And the reason why is because obviously we grow more together. You can ask for feedback. You can get help from other people. But we also respect that some people work for companies that don't want to share what they're working on. And in that case, it's totally fine. Just yesterday, we had a session and some people said that they'd rather we pair people up. So people could talk to each other and get feedback on their project, on their prompts. And some people say, no, I'd rather work alone, or I'd rather work with this other person from my own company. That's totally fine. You can do it. But the default state is that there's a lot of sharing. So that helps everybody grow. Cool. Any other questions? Awesome. So I'm just going to close by giving you a quick reminder last one. Which are the mental models that you use approaching to an AI or an AI-based tool? Oh my God, I could talk about this for hours. I think in terms of mental models, my main mental model is that I see most things in life, really, but especially in technology, as an assembly line. What do I mean? There's usually data that flows from one step to another. Think about it this way. When we get a lead, we get a request from a customer. It's data that flows from the customer keyboard onto our website. And then from that, before using this automation, went into Helene's screen, and then into Helene's brain. And then Helene's brain elaborated that data and put that in an email that got to the customer. That's the assembly line. What we did is we put a ChatGPT step before Helene's brain. And so that's the way that I think about the flow of data and the workflows. If you think about it this way, then you are sure that your idea does not fight against the way that people work, but it works with it. It works within people's workflows, within people's habits. It doesn't fight against them. That's one of the mental models that I use. And that's, by the way, that's what we teach in the lesson number 1 of the Mastering Prompt Engineering, because the most important thing, I always say, a problem well framed is a problem half solved. If you don't do a good framing, you mess it up. Approach to a new AI tool, example, Perplexity. It's exactly what I just said. Like, I think about it, how would that fit in my workflow? And that's, I think, a big problem with ChatGPT, which is it fights against how people work. People use Google, and now they need to be like, oh, wait a moment, instead of using Google, I need to go there. So I evaluate tools based on how easy they are to incorporate in my workflow, how easy they are to incorporate, to put my data in and to get data out. That's the way that I think. So just to close, mindful of time, there's 1 minute left, and then everybody can go and enjoy their weekend. Mastering Prompt Engineering, opening sales right now. There's the link in the chat. If we can post it again, I think it will be nice. If you're seriously interested in this, I highly recommend that you try to take a decision fairly fast, because the price goes up after the early bird discount ends, but also because we sell it out every time. We want to keep classes small. That's why it sells out. So if you have questions, write us. Write Andrea, if you can put your email there. I can answer. If you want to talk to previous students to get a, an idea of how the program works, I think that's something we can arrange as well. Okay. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the time we spent together. I hope this was insightful. I hope this was helpful. I hope you're inspired, and I hope I'm going to see you in class. And if I don't, good luck with your AI journey.